Well, just about 100 feet from us on Monday, a young man, 25 years old, named Ezell Ford, was shot and killed by the Los Angeles Police Department. He was completely unarmed. Every single witness says that he was not combative and was following direction, yet the police shot him 3 times and killed him here on this street. Their story is that they rode up on him and that he struggled with them, and that he supposedly reached for one of their guns, and that is why they shot him. But there is absolutely no other witnesses, and there's a bunch of witnesses here in the neighborhood who have already given statements who say that none of that happened.
Send the killer cop to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send the killer cop to jail.
If I have a son, you know what I'm saying, police don't kill my kids. So I don't know, maybe I should have a kid by a white man. I don't know. Honestly, I think they're not going to do nothing about it. I mean, I think they should go to jail. Whoever killed them, you know what I'm saying, I think they all should be in jail. I think they all should, you know what I'm saying, get took down just like we would. You know what I'm saying, if we kill one of their children, what's going to happen?
They hide behind their badges, use their badges to come up, treat us foul, treat us like we ain't worth nothing, like we don't belong here in this world, you know, when all we is trying to do is survive and take care of our families. In order for us to stop this, we have to come together and show them that we are not these foul people that they think we are, but we are human beings as well.
We need the names released of all the officers involved. Just like in Ferguson, Missouri, it was one of the first things that they were calling for in Ferguson, and obviously it took, what, 6 days for them to release that name in Missouri. And of course now they're doing all they can to protect him in Missouri, yet there's nothing being done for what happened to Mike Brown there. Same story here. And we're also calling for an independent community tribunal, an open hearing, for us to do our own investigation, because we have no faith that the police are going to be able to do their own fair investigation, or even that the FBI or any politician could come in and be fair.
Something has to happen in order for us to be able to understand each other. They got to take the time to get to know us instead of just judging us from when they just pull up and see us. You can't just think every black man walking around here is affiliated with the gang, because they're not. I mean, I feel nervous all the time. You know, I've been a victim of brutality myself, not only down here in LA, but up in Palmdale and Lancaster where I live at. You know, I done had run-ins with the sheriffs where I've been handcuffed and pepper sprayed, you know, down here, kicked, stumped where I had a knot on the side of my Adam's apple. But you know, me being from the streets and knowing how the system goes, usually brothers don't pursue legal standpoints against them because we feel it's not going to get nowhere. No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Easy!
Nigga!
No justice, no peace. You know what I mean? So if things keep going the way that they're going, it's more likely going to be open war on the streets. We don't want to do that because we know it's some good cops. They just people trying to do their jobs. But at the end of the day, you have bad cops.
Omar Abrego is a 37-year-old, I believe 37-year-old, a Latino man who on August 2nd was returning home to his house on Main Street right near 69th. And he was beaten right in front of his house on Main Street with fists and batons, to the point where one of the police officers actually had to go to the hospital because he broke his fist. He was then rushed to the hospital, and 12 hours later he died from his injuries. He bled out. Every time an unarmed black or Latino person is killed in America, the police story is the same. He was reaching for our gun. He was combative. He was trying to fight us. That's their stock and trade answer. And that's what they said about Omar as well, was that they tried to pull him over, that he was driving erratically. Even if all of that was true, does that really necessitate beating a man to death?
Neither Mr. Ford, neither Mr. Abrego were armed. They were both unarmed, and we have seen this story throughout the country, where the victim of a police shooting is accused of trying to assault the police officer, and it has become an all too standard lie of the police to try to cover up their act of murder.
The LAPD are the biggest gang in Los Angeles. they've got the guns, they've got all the weapons, and they think that they can use all of that and brutalize and intimidate us.
From Ferguson to LA, these killer cops have got to pay. From Ferguson to LA, these killer cops have got to pay. ¿Qué queremos? Justicia.
This is a murder. And we've got to find out what really happened and get that truth out. And we ask anyone who knows anything more about this, do not go to the police. Don't go to them. Come to BAM. Make sure you tell us, because we've got to, as a community, build our own power. Stand on the truth. Get that truth out and conduct our own public tribunal and hearing where we present the evidence. Tell what really happened. Talk about who Omar and Ezell really were as the people that they were and who were loved, who were human, who weren't perfect, just like the rest of us, and for that, who, just like the rest of us, deserved their chance at life.
The names of the officers will be released. The Los Angeles Police Department always releases the names of officers involved in shootings. But the first thing we do is we make sure that they're not at risk. So we have some investigative steps to take to make sure that there's no threats against the officers, and then the names will be released.
How they getting down in Ferguson with all the military stuff and all that. I just want to know, in Los Angeles with the LAPD, have you been ordering this type of stuff, or are you guys coming with the military stuff with us?
We do have special weapons and tactics in our SWAT team, but they're not regularly deployed in our patrol forces or our gang forces. There is a place for that kind of hardware, but that place is not on a protest line. That place is not in a neighborhood that isn't under siege. A time and a place, just like everything else.
How many LAPD officers have been charged for murder or convicted for the people in the city? Unarmed. Inspector General.
So guys, you want to field that question? Or?
I want to. Who prosecutes the LAPD?
We prosecute the LAPD.
How many have you prosecuted?
How many LAPD officers are
Yeah, for murder.
For murder?
Yes.
I don't know the statistic off the top of my head, but
Allow the gentleman to speak.
if your question is on duty uses of force, that's a different question, because just last year we did prosecute an LAPD officer for murder, and she was convicted, but that was an off-duty
You know, let me address that, and can I address that? We go where investigations take us. The case that the DA refers to was a detective who worked for me when I was chief of detectives. And we followed a case that was 2 decades old and arrested her. And that's because it was the right thing to do. That's not because we needed to do it to make some statement. It was because it was the right thing to do. Now,
that was off
duty. Please let me finish. Please let me finish. We will follow this case where it takes us. I'm not afraid of the truth.
What happened wasn't right. A young boy is dead. We got one man's side of the story that they went off of. You know, the other person wasn't here to tell their story, and they, you know, they used it to their advantage.
I think it is adequate punishment. I believe that it has to be a symbol, because what he said was absolutely